If you say you know me, then every night you know my mind's racing. Awfully lonely, pieces of light and moments I've wasted. Crazy when I try to face me, baby, I'm alright. Quickly tell me I'm not letting go, I don't know me anymore. I'm a little impatient.
What is up, guys? Welcome back to another video. Today we're going to talk about how to get the straddle planche, a tutorial for a straddle planche. What is a straddle planche? Who invented the straddle? I'm just kidding. We won't go too far for that. Maybe that'll be for a future video, but today, yes, I'm gonna do a tutorial on how to straddle planche. I'll be giving you guys the following progressions that I used to get my straddle planche, and I hope it helps you. Now, before you work towards a straddle planche, I would recommend at least a 5 seconds advanced tuck planche hold. If you don't have that, then just go to the links in the description, tap the link of the tutorial, and get the heck out of this tutorial because you're not ready.
You are not ready.
Yes, Daddy.
Alright, if you pass the requirement, then let's just go to the tutorial. What are you waiting for? Let's go to the tutorial, guys. Ah, my dick. Now, the tutorial will be split in the following categories: planche attempts, planche push-up strength, leaning, and moving in a planche through a greater range of motion. Stay tuned for that. Now, in this first part of the video, I'll be talking about how to correctly attempt the straddle planche as a beginner. Now, the only requirement before working on straddle planche attempts is just a 5-second hold on your picust planche. Does that even make sense? The picust planche, because your hips are basically really piked? I don't know. Now, how to attempt the straddle planche correctly. You want to start from your picust planche and lean as far forward as possible as you kick your legs out to give yourself some excess momentum to get into that so-called straddle planche position. At first, your straddle planche might look like this, but nothing to worry about that because eventually it will get better as you get a lot stronger. These attempts will not get you stronger to hold the actual straddle planche, but it gives you the rough understanding of how you should do this movement. In this next segment of the video, we'll be working towards the mechanical advantage planche push-up named after Simon's the Strength Daddy. No homo. This bridges the gap between the tuck planche push-up, which I talk about in my advanced tuck planche tutorial, as well as the straddle planche push-up. In this movement, you want to start from a tuck planche and lower yourself into the bottom of a planche push-up before tucking your knees back in and pushing yourself back up into the tuck planche position. Now, with that freaking boring explanation out of the way, let's move on to the progressions. In my opinion, the planche lean is one of the best progressions for planche, especially for beginners. But as we move on to the so-called intermediate stage of the planche lean will be too easy of a progression as there's a limit to how much we can lean. So how do we adjust the difficulty of the planche lean to our level? We can widen our grip, elevate our feet on something higher, and use additional weights. In the last segment of the video, I'll be introducing my personal favorite progression to work towards the straddle planche. Now, some of you might ask, yo, isn't this a similar movement pattern to a straddle planche negative?
Yes, I am.
So now, why create this new progression when the straddle planche negative exists? First of all, please simply understand that not everyone is able to hold a handstand at this point. Second of all, the balance aspect of the planche negative was a huge barrier of getting the necessary sets and reps in, which is why I highly recommend using this version of the planche negative, as it maximizes strength gain and you don't need to learn a handstand. In the beginning, you want to attempt the planche negative by starting from a push-up position where your feet is touching the wall, and then you want to climb the wall to the point where you are in some sort of a slanted handstand. From there, you want to lean into your shoulders and push yourself with straight arms to ensure that your feet is remaining in contact with the wall until it reaches the horizontal position. At first, you may not be able to fully control the planche negative to the point where your body is parallel to the floor. But just keep doing sets and reps of those and eventually you will succeed. And when that gets easy, bring your hands closer to the wall, as that forces you to lean further into your shoulders during the movement, which makes this movement much harder. Alright guys, that is the end of the straddle planche tutorial. If you enjoyed the video, who enjoyed the video? If you learned something new, yes. If you learned something new about the straddle planche, do support me by subscribing to my channel, leaving a like on this video, posting a comment in the comment section so that I have more content ideas, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Also follow me on Instagram. I realize that many of you have not followed me there yet, so what are you waiting for?